Hey everyone, Brandon here with McVeigh Outdoors. I wanted to talk to you today about bleeding control, specifically the emergency trauma dressing, also known as the Israeli bandage, and a tourniquet. Uh, First, I want to talk to you about how this was created and why it was created. Initially, before this, you would have your gauze and an ACE wrap for the pressure. You'd put your gauze, of course, in direct pressure, then you'd wrap it with the ACE wrap, and it would apply that extra pressure to stop the bleeding. What they found in combat situations or high stress situations is that it was really hard for people to take those two items and combine them and make that one item. So the Israelis developed this. Notice it's got your stretchy like your ACE wrap, and there's your gauze. We'll go over this in a second. And then your tourniquet. These are the ones that we sell. It's similar to the cat style, or the cat. It's got a real nice heavy duty windlass. You can't bend that or break that, and I'm trying pretty hard. These are no longer down on the protocols. These are first line. So if you have heavy bleeding, if it's squirting or if it's just coming out, then you go to this first. We'll cover that in a minute as well. The first thing I want to talk about is how to control bleeding that does not require a tourniquet. And for that, I'm going to go to my handy assistant here, young Monica. So let's assume that Monica here has a pretty bad cut right here. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is grab some gauze, and we're going to cover it. We're going to do direct pressure right over that spot. We're going to elevate the wound above the heart. So we're essentially going to allow or let gravity work with us here. We're not going to work against nature. We're going to let it work with us. We're not going to pull that off and check to see if it's done bleeding, because that's going to tear up the clot that we're trying to form. And once you rip that clot away, you're back to step one. So direct pressure. If it starts to bleed through, we're just going to pick up more gauze, and we're going to do the exact same thing. You can elevate it higher. The next thing you can do is you can find your pulse point. So right here, if your wound is here, your brachial artery is going to be right down here at the elbow, and you're just going to apply direct pressure to that, and you're going to slow the blood flow that's coming to this limb. If that doesn't work, or if that does work, we can apply any kind of wrap. If it doesn't work and we need something else, we can go to the Israeli bandage. And how this works is you're going to put that, of course all the gauze is going to be under, and then you're going to pull it tight, and it goes in between this little contraption here. And you're just going to keep wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. I'm not going to make it too tight on her because she's not actually bleeding. But the point is, you're going to make this tight. Now, I say make it tight. You don't want to cut off blood flow. So while you're doing this, you also need to be checking a pulse below wherever the wound is. So if the wound is here, you can check a pulse here at the brachial artery, or you can check a pulse here at the radial artery. You don't want to stop the blood flow. You just want to stop the bleeding coming out from here. So we're going to keep going. These are pretty long. This is a 4-inch one. They come in different sizes. We carry the 4 and the 6-inch on our website. And they're long like that so they can go over legs and everything else. And you'll notice on this end has these clips. So you're just going to clip it. Like so. And it will stay in place. We'll take this this off so she doesn't lose blood flow to her hand. All right. Next thing I want to go over is the tourniquet. So this is one-handed operation. You can put it on yourself. So again, if we've got a wound here, we want to go above. So if the wound's in the middle or more towards the elbow, you really want to stay, 1 to 2 inches above it. So I'm not going to put it in the bin. I'm actually going to put it up here. If the wound is coming from, or if the bleeding is coming from the wrist, then we'll go right here. So in this instance, we're going to put the red tab through the belt loop. And you're going to cinch it down tight. Now, at this point, this is for arterial bleeds or your big veins. So if you got blood spurting out here, you really do need to stop it. So checking the pulse is not necessary. So once you get that on as tight as you can, you're going to cinch it up by twisting the windlass. That's this beam here. And once you get that tightened down, you're going to put the windlass into this little clasp here. It's going to hold it in place. That Velcro is going to hold the tourniquet. And then you're going to put the white tab. It says time. You're going to write the time that you did it. Remember, these wounds are going to require surgical care in most instances. If you're going to have a tourniquet on for an extended amount of time, more than 2 hours, then what you need to do, the reason why writing the time is important, you actually need to let some of the slack off for just a few seconds, let that blood flow, and then cinch it back and stop it again. If you're going to have this on long term and you don't do that, then you'll actually get compartment syndrome, where all of those toxins build up below the tourniquet, and when you pop that tourniquet off, all of those toxins are going to flow straight to the heart, going to cause real bad problems. Also, I carry 2 of these when I go hunting in my pack. I have had patients on the ambulance that have required more than 1 tourniquet, so don't be afraid. The point is to get the bleeding to stop. Don't be afraid to put on more than 1. In one instance, I went to the hospital with a gentleman that I had put 2 of these on, and the nurse in the ER made fun of me, but he wasn't bleeding anymore, and I did the appropriate treatment, so there you go. Thanks for watching. Any comments, let me know, and have a good one.